Hi, my name is Rod Cleef, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of How to Build Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Rod Cleef, and I'm thrilled you're here. And I know you're going to get great value from the dynamic gentleman I'm interviewing today. His name is Julius Oni. Now, he is a doctor, orthopedic surgeon. His company, XSITE Capital, they've purchased, I think, in excess of 125 million in assets in the last couple of years. So they're really cranking it up, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you so much, Rod. I've been so inspired by your work, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh, that's kind of you to say that. Well, listen, orthopedic surgeons make pretty decent change. So I want to know, I want to hear the story, and I want to hear how real estate came into the picture. So please give us a little more background on you, and then we'll dig in. Thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We do fairly decently, and I cannot complain about how well I'm doing with my orthopedic surgery salary. But one thing is very clear. I'm not able to pass down my orthopedic surgery salary down to my progenitors. You know, even if they do choose to become an orthopedic surgeon, they're going to have to do the work themselves.
Right.
And this really, I mean, I could help them to prepare for the exams. I could help them to, you know, to know exactly what the next steps are if they are interested. But there's really no way for me to pass down my highly paid skill work, because that's what I am. I'm a highly paid skilled worker to them. And so for a long time, since I started practice just a little over 9 years ago, I always wanted to figure out ways to create passive income. And I started with single family. Quickly realized that the cash flow wasn't as impressive as I wanted. And I wasn't as excited about managing tenants, you know, termites and toilets, like they say. And then I also did some angel investing. But that, like you probably know, is a high risk, high reward type play. Sure. You typically spraying and praying, you know, you invest in a bunch of companies and you hope that maybe 20-30% of them make up for the entire investment and do well. So that certainly wasn't a way to replace cash flow and to create passive income. And it was during the time that I started to think about ways to do this that I was introduced to one of my partners who actually introduced me to multifamily real estate. And when I discovered the wealth creation abilities of multifamily, I was like, wow, this is incredible. Started asking people in my network, and, you know, and just did a straw poll of them and realized that most people in the healthcare field just did not know that it was possible to pool resources to buy this large cash flowing multifamily assets. And then I also started to go to some conferences and quickly realized that, you know, I was seeing a lot of MBAs, a lot of CPAs, a lot of JDs, a lot of, real estate folks from different backgrounds, but healthcare professionals were not well represented in the cross section of people that we were seeing. So me and my partners then at that point figured that there was a great opportunity here to bring the gospel of multifamily real estate to our communities of healthcare professionals, of underrepresented minorities. Obviously, we take money from everybody who wants to invest in us, but we center those avatars. And it's been an incredible journey in the last 2 years.
Nice. Yeah, I've got, I was just mentioning to you before we started, I've got a mastermind that it's coming up in June. And I host it 3 times a year. It's called the Multifamily Boardroom. And I've got a couple doctors that are in there. They're brothers. And, they've got a few thousand doors and they do the same thing. And in fact, they wrote a book, I think, for healthcare professionals because, and I wanted you to say it. I didn't want to say it, but you're only as, you stop working, the revenue stops, and so that's why this business is so exciting. And you mentioned lots of other very technical, learned higher education positions like JDs and engineers and so on and so forth that end up in this business because it can become passive at some point. So love it. So let me ask you this. I mean, was there an aha moment when you're like, okay, I need to be doing this? I mean, was there an epiphany moment, or did it kind of build over time? Just maybe you can describe what happened.
My epiphany moment was actually more gradual because I met my partner in the operating room. He was a certified registered nurse and anesthetist, and I was replacing people's hips and knees. And after surgery, we would get together and just talk a little bit about real estate and the powerful wealth creation abilities of multifamily real estate. Right. And quickly, by reading a lot of books, by listening to a lot of podcasts, I quickly realized that multifamily real estate was an incredible vehicle to creating wealth, not just for myself, but for our extended community. So, and once I, took that straw poll of folks around us and realized that most people did not know about it, I knew that there was a great opportunity here to share about this with a lot of people.
Yeah, you're kind of in the catbird seat because you're already in the community, and a lot of operators want to break into the medical community because it's high income, and for the same reason that you're in it. Absolutely. It's an opportunity for passive income that's much more secure than being an angel investor. I mean, you could be an angel investor and be probably more successful, but like anything, you need to study it. And you didn't have the time to study it. You're busy, fixing hips and knees and so on and so forth. Right. And so, and that's the problem with a lot of these things is you can't dabble, and you were smart enough to get in there and really, study, go to conferences, do those things, so that, you educated yourself because like anything, dabblers get crushed. And so in any business, whether you're investing in the stock market, and why would you give your hard-earned money to somebody if you didn't know what it was, which is a real argument for people to come to my boot camp, frankly. So, just if you're going to, even if you're going to invest passively, frankly, because it's just so risky. And, like as a stock market example, those guys that sell you stocks, they're salespeople. They're not analysts. They're not experts in the business. And it's the same thing, and there's risks with what we do as well. The operators that are, especially right now, as aggressive as some of these people are being in this hot market. There's a lot of what's the word, frothing right now, I think, with assets. So let me ask you this, as you got going, you say you've got a couple of partners. You built a team. Now, I know it sounds like one of them is in the medical profession. Are both of them, or just one of them?
No, one of them is a cybersecurity professional. Got
it. Yeah. So how did you guys divide and conquer? Are you all doing the same things? Are you just doing investor relations and they're doing, deal review and analysis? Are you all sharing? Give me an idea of how you broke it up.
That is a great question. I mainly focused on investor relations and leading the overall vision of the company as a CEO. And my partner, Leslie Awesome, focused on the operations and underwriting. And he loves, it's a genius with numbers, and he knows how to work those really underwrite those properties quickly and efficiently. And my third partner, who we call Tenacious Tenny, actually moved this entire family, sold his home in the DC area, moved this entire family to our target market.
Which is
the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, just the Southeast US. Yeah. So, and he moved this family there. I mean, you talk about unwavering faith, and even when we weren't really sure that we were going to close any deal, but he just, knew that he needed to do it to have us have some boots on the ground. And he's been pounding the pavements with the brokers and developing incredible relationships with them. And that has led to a lot of success for us.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and that's what I look for in my team as well. Is that desire? You know, if that burning desire is there, all the other things will work themselves out. Yeah, there could be some slip ups and some mistakes and some false starts, but that's probably the most important thing. So talk about the first deal you did. Break that down a little bit. Where was it? How many doors? How'd you find it? How'd you close it? You know, just break it down a little bit.
That's a great question. So the first deal we did with some more senior general partners.
Okay.
But I would love to talk about the first deal we did by ourselves. As the
go there then. Yeah. But let me interject something. Let me interject something before you tell that story. Guys, this is how almost everybody starts. They align with a sponsor is what it's called. And it's someone that's done some deals that has the Fannie Mae card or the Freddie Mac card. So they've got some experience. They satisfy the experience piece. And then very often they'll help with the resume, with the liquidity and the net worth requirements, because you need a net worth equal to the loan amount, and you need liquidity post-closing equal to 10% of the loan amount. So you bring somebody in that's done this before, they get a piece of the deal, obviously, and sometimes they want to control the deal, and which is understandable since if you're a newbie. And we do this a lot. I mean, out of the 4,000 doors we've bought in the last few years, it's been mostly from students bringing us deals, and we sponsor them. And so that's how people get started. So anyway, please tell us about the first deal you did on your own.
That is so true. You couldn't have said that more accurately. But the first deal we did on our own, at this point, my partner had moved his family to our target market. Mm-hmm. And for a good 8 months, we did not get any traction. We were just, the brokers would send us bottom of the barrel deals. We'll underwrite it, send it right back to them, and tell them exactly why this worked or didn't work for us. And then eventually, when they saw that we were underwriting these deals efficiently, they started to send us even better deals. And ultimately, the deal that we got actually was an off-market opportunity. Mm-hmm. That one of the brokers that my partner had driven 3 hours to go meet with him for 15 minutes, mm-hmm. and then driven 3 hours back to his home. And the broker just couldn't believe how intense he was. And so he decided to give us a chance, and clearly told us, you get just one chance. If you close it, then you're all set. Another thing that we did was organized our company so that our meetings were way more efficient. Because sometimes, we implemented some structure into our meetings.
Okay, well, I want to drill down on that, but let's go back for 1 second. So he was impressed by the fact the guy drove 6 hours round trip to see the property, loved the passion that obviously was exhibited. How big was the deal? How many doors? What was the price?
It was 132 unit Class C property. In Columbia, South Carolina.
Got it.
We purchased it for $12.55 million. And had to raise about 5.3 for it.
Got it.
Fannie Mae loan. Yeah.
Fannie loan. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so talk about some of the systems that you've set up to make yourself more efficient. Not just the meetings, but the actual systems. So you can start with the meetings if you like, but I'd like to drill down on it a little bit, please.
We could just go right into the systems. First off, we needed to have an investor portal that works, mm-hmm. and so we asked our mentors some questions about which portals would be ideal. And we certainly went with one that we thought was reasonably priced and that was mm-hmm. going to work for us.
Let me interject. So guys, when you raise money, to keep track of all the money that comes in and make sure you're reporting properly and giving the K-1s properly and capturing all the information that you need for the SEC, for the syndication, there are software, software is the wrong word. There are portals that you can utilize. Some are very expensive, like Juniper Square, and then there's others that are very expensive, and there's others that are very, very reasonable, and everywhere in between. And some are newer than others, and they've got pitfalls, and so we've gone through 2 of them now ourselves. But I just wanted to give a little clarification on what a portal is. So please continue.
Thank you. And then for our acquisition pipeline, we also created a pipeline, a way to track all the acquisitions, know which one that's been underwritten,
what stage it's in,
what stage it's in, and everybody was on the same page about what was going. And then we decided that, listen, how many deals do we need to underwrite to achieve our goals at the end of the year? And we just reversed engineer that. Whatever that was, we held ourselves accountable to those numbers. So, and how many investors do we need to onboard into the portal, prior to, to be able to raise the amount that we plan
what
to
software?
achieve.
What software did you use to track your deals?
We started with Groundbreaker, but right now we're using Syndication Pro.
So you're doing it in the portal itself?
Oh, you mean to track?
I mean to track the deals. To track the deals, right?
To track the deals. Oh no, we actually created ours. We created,
you did?
Like a Google sheet,
just an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, because we use HubSpot, and I mean I know people that use Asana, that use Basecamp, and other project management softwares, but and we do the same thing. And what's nice about a program like that, and maybe yours has the ability as well, is, well, I'm sure it does. We throw links in there to all the documents, to the old brokers OMs, to all of that stuff, so that everything's right there. Yeah, love it. And guys, this is how, every business out there, including this one, is nothing but people and systems. You get the right people and you put together the right systems, success is inevitable. So love it. And now, what did you do to make your meetings more efficient?
I mean, we implemented the entrepreneurial operating system.
Oh, you did EOS traction. Fantastic.
So we had everybody read the Gino Wickman traction book and pretty much implemented it to the T.
Let me expand on that too as well. You're bringing some great stuff up. So guys, in fact, I introduced this to my mastermind members. EOS is an entrepreneur's operating system, is a name given to a system by a guy named Gino Wickman and his team. And it's documented in the book called Traction. And it has really been groundbreaking for us as well. And what it does is it makes your meetings more effective. It makes sure that single people are accountable for single things. If you got more than one person accountable, nobody's accountable. So it does that. It helps you. It gives you a framework to get to focus on the next 90 days goals, and they call them rocks, but they're goals for the next 90 days, outcomes that you're committed to accomplishing. And it's been fantastic for us. And we had our normal weekly morning meeting this morning, and then every quarter you do a leadership meeting, which we're actually doing next week. Our quarterly leadership is next week to establish our next 90-day goals.
90-day goal.
So, rocks they're called. And so, it's a very, very great system for once you get your company up and running. I wish I'd known about it 10 years ago in other companies that I've owned, but it's interesting. Julius, we were talking about, I was telling you about that gentleman that I forgot to hit the record button, Albert Barras. His company was actually referenced in that book, Traction. He was that was one of the case studies. Yeah. So I called Albert. I was like, "Holy shit, you were in this book that we gave." He's like, "Yeah, we were one of the first ones." But so yeah, that's fantastic, and I'm really glad you brought that up because, like I say, I brought that, and I brought an implementer to one of our mastermind meetings, and we just went through the whole process, and every one of them that it wasn't already in it got in it. So let me ask you this. Go ahead. It
was incredible for us because within 4 months of implementing Traction, we closed our first deal. That's how powerful it was for us.
Fantastic. Yeah. So let me ask you this. You have your family, children, the whole thing. Yes. Yeah.
A wife and 2 kids. Yeah.
Right. So what did you have to give up to or sacrifice to get to the success that you have now? And forgive me, I forget to call you doctor. Forgive me.
It's fine. Julius is completely fine.
Okay.
That is a great question. I mean, there's no free lunch. And certainly if you doing what we are doing and literally have a day job, which I love dearly and I truly enjoy, and also had on this awesome responsibility of helping people create wealth through multifamily real estate. There's something that's got to give, but I give credit to my family. They're super understanding. My wife has been incredibly supportive. There's certainly times when I've had to go, to a deal to do some due diligence, and that would be at the expense of obviously spending some time with family. But she's been incredibly understanding, and when I'm around, I do my best to make sure that I'm very intentional about spending significant time with them, because without them, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do.
Well, we do it all for them. Honestly,
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line if you get right down to it. And the key is to be present when you're with them.
Absolutely.
Your kids and your spouse would rather have 15 minutes of your total presence than an hour of distraction. And so,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, I mean, you're still doing this on the side. You're still a surgeon. Yeah. And you're able to, I mean, and guys, that's what's possible. That's what's so exciting about this business. I mean, don't tell me what you do is any more complicated or consuming than what Dr. Julius here does. And I'm going to tell you that, and I've got scores, lots of students that have retired from very high paying, 6-figure jobs. Like, we've been talking about doing this on the side with kids, with spouses and the whole thing. And so it's absolutely doable. So, let me ask you this, because you're the CEO of your company.
Yep.
And what do you think is a characteristic that one or more characteristics that leaders should possess, okay, as they're leading their team? Because guys, if you're watching this, I know you're a leader. If you're listening or watching this show right now, you're a leader. And right now the freaking world needs leaders more than ever before. So share some insights on what you believe characteristics a leader should possess, one or more.
I think a leader needs to have incredible emotional intelligence. You have to be able to know exactly when to push and pull, and who to push and pull with, and at what time you do it. Because some of your employees or partners there may be times when they just need encouragement, when they need just to be they just need some TLC, if you want to call it that. And some other times they just need to be pushed. They need to be called out with love, but called out. And so, but being able to know when to push and pull, being able to know, the motivations of the people that work with you, and to align the overall mission and vision of the entire company with those motivations. I think it's been some of the insights that I've learned over the last 2 years.
Incredible advice. Now, let me ask you this. How did you hone your emotional intelligence? How did you grow on that? I know how I did mine. I'm just curious how you did it. Did it just happen naturally, or did you study or go to any courses or do anything?
So, I mean, I think it's a combination of things. Obviously, been in practice for about 9 years, been an orthopedic surgeon. You are automatically a leader in that operating room. So yes, in my first few years of practice, when something went wrong, I spashed out a little bit and overreacted. But then as you developed, you quickly realize that once you overreact, now you make everybody completely nervous. And then people cannot give their best to that patient. Right. Same with real estate, I just have to be, I quickly learned over time just to be able to kind of take a deep breath and analyze situations, analyze it, figure out how to best respond to it, knowing that, responding to it in a knee-jerk fashion could potentially lead to things being said that I can't take back. And this is the emotional intelligence I've developed over the years, has not just helped me with the real estate company. It's helped me with family. It's helped me with work. But for me, also, I did take some classes at the Carey School of Business at Johns Hopkins, where I work. And so I was able to, learn a little bit also there about some of the qualities you need. And I read a lot. I podcast. And I have, in the morning, I have my morning routine, including, meditation, exercise, and reading that kind of keeps me grounded and helps me to kind of stay focused on the goals that we've set for ourselves.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I will tell you, and if you listen to me, you've heard me talk about focus before, guys. And It's funny. I only listen to a couple of podcasts anymore. And Tim Ferriss's is one of them. And he deconstructs, the best of the best in the world at what they do. The, actors like Jamie Foxx and Ed Norton and Arnold, and athletes like Michael Phelps and billionaires like Ray Dalio. I mean, just the best of the best. And I started to hear a pattern in those interviews, and that is that they all meditate. In fact, I was just listening to Hugh Jackman yesterday when I was exercising, and he meditates. And it's like, that's a clue. You know why that's a big clue? It's because what does meditation enhance? Your focus. Right? Yeah. So let me, Doctor, that I've got a lot of aspiring investors that listen to this show. I'm blessed to have them come full circle all the time and have them on the show. And they've started by listening, and now that, now they've implemented, but there are a lot that haven't taken action yet, that haven't taken action yet, that know they need to do more. And out of fear or limiting beliefs or comfort, even, they haven't taken action. What would you say to those people?
First, I would say a journey of 1,000 miles, start with that first step.
Yeah.
So you just need to take that first step. And that first step, maybe, go getting a mentor, maybe going to like a master class, maybe investing in educational materials so that you can start to speak the language, because commercial real estate in general is a completely different language, and then those people need to start identifying as what they aspire to be. One of my greatest challenge when I took on this challenge of exploring commercial real estate was the inevitable identity crisis that comes from, trying to identify now as a real estate investor. I was for several years, I've always identified as an orthopedic surgeon, as a hip and knee replacement surgeon, and that was my identity. So when this opportunity came and we decided that we were going to go out and spread the word in our communities, I was like, what are people going to think? Are they going to think that maybe things are not working out well in orthopedic surgery? Are they still going to respect me as an academic orthopedic surgeon? Are they what's going? And those fears almost stopped me from moving forward.
No kidding. Wow.
But then I quickly realized that after reading a lot of books, after listening to a lot of podcasts like yours and others, I quickly started to realize that, I am presenting an opportunity to these folks. And someone had told me in one of those books or a podcast that, you need to start identifying as what you aspire to be. And so when I would introduce myself in any forum, I would say I'm Dr. Julius Oni, I'm an orthopedic surgeon and also a real estate investor. And I had to say that a few times, and then quickly I started to embody it. And before I realized what was going on, I fully was comfortable with it. And the opposite actually happened. People didn't say, "Oh, why are you doing this when you're an orthopedic surgeon?" They were like, "Wow, this is incredible that you discovered this and you're sharing it with us. What can we do to go on this journey with you?" And that has been an incredible insight for me. So for those people that are not sure about how to get started yet, just take that first step of faith.
Dr. Martin Luther King, take that first step in faith and the next step will be revealed. I love it. Listen, and by the way, something you said is something I teach heavily, and that is anything you put the words "I am" in front of is an identity statement. You were struggling with your identity, and then you just incorporated real estate investing. I am an orthopedic surgeon and a real estate investor. You just added an and you owned it. And when you say "I am" enough times, "I am this, I am that" enough times. In fact, that's one of the things we do in my boot camp is an identity statement that starts with the words "I am," because the more you can identify with what it is that you want, that you aspire to be, it pulls you into it. And so it's a very powerful exercise we do at my boot camps, and then you own it. It becomes you. It's your identity. So no, that's a great answer. So what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is the ability. So my life's vision is to improve access to musculoskeletal care in in lower to middle income countries, starting with Nigeria and beyond.
Wow.
And I've worked very carefully over the last several years to try to achieve that vision by doing some charitable trips, just like one we just came from in Nigeria, where we did free total joint replacements for people that couldn't afford it. And my company was actually lucky to be a sponsor, a co-sponsor of that effort.
Wow,
and it was my nonprofit that I co-founded with other surgeons that also led that effort. So in a perfect world, I would have financial freedom, time freedom, geographic freedom. So the ability to do what I want with the people that I want to do it with, when I want to do it, at the time of my choosing. That's what I define financial freedom as. And at being able to achieve that will ultimately allow me to focus on what on that larger vision of improving access to care. I chose to become an orthopedic surgeon, and particularly a joint replacement surgeon, because my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, in the last 3 years of her life had end-stage arthritis of the knees, and there was no surgeon to fix her knees. Wow. And so now when I get a chance to fix other people's mothers and fathers and grandmas and grandpas and uncles and aunties, it just makes me feel like I'm living fully in my purpose, particularly when I'm able to do it for folks that can actually afford it. I can't describe to you how amazing that feels.
I know how amazing it feels. That's freaking awesome. That is so awesome, brother. And guys, I want you to pay attention to something. He instantly was able to carefully and concisely articulate his vision and mission in life. Do you know how powerful that is? Because he knows what it is, and so he's living it right now. And I'm so impressed with that, my friend. And I don't want to go any further than that. I want to end on that because that is so freaking powerful.
Thank you so much.
Very impressive, my friend.
Thank you so much,
well,
Rod.
This has been a real treat. I'm, I know that I spoke to your meetup once and it
was a blessing.
I had no idea you were a doctor then. You're very humble as well. And so, thank you. Very impressive. Well, thank you. It's great to see you, my friend. And I'm sure we'll stay in touch.
Thank you so much for inviting me on your platform, Rod. It's an incredible honor. Thank you.
You bet.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345, and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345.